Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. I say the things on here that nobody dare say. We're going to be joined by Ian now. Here's Ian. How are you doing, Ian?
Hello, Russ. Yep, all good, mate.
Brilliant, eh? Brilliant. Big John Fury's piped up. I'm just going
He's
to play
back.
the 69-second clip. You ready?
Go.
He had us stolen. First and foremost, he had his belt stolen off him, didn't he? He had us stolen off him, to be honest with you. And what can you say? When somebody's paid you a shed load of money, they seem to resent letting you stay champion as well, don't they? You know, and for my money, he probably didn't want to pay him the same amount again. Probably couldn't afford to pay Tyson that same money again if he'd let him remain as champion. For me, he won both fights. He didn't look in fantastic shape in this second one, you know. And in the first one, he needed more rest time. To be honest with you, he put a full camp in 7 weeks, got cut. He had 3 weeks rest, and he's back in the gym for another 8 weeks. You can't do those things. So by the time he got in the ring, the first fight with Usyk, he'd overtrained. There was nothing left of him, but he was facing a $10-15 million fine. He was backed in a corner. I mean, he couldn't do it. I told him, take the fine. Take the fine. I said, he's not going to fine you. There's no show without you. There's no show, you know. But anyway, he didn't want to let fans down. He didn't want to let people down. You know, but sometimes you've got to make your own decisions.
What do you think?
Wow, that's the first time I've heard that. Where do we start? So he reckons his son won both fights, which he clearly didn't. He said that he'd overtrained, which he clearly hadn't.
Yeah.
And I just, what does John, what goes through John's mind to come out with such a load of old tosh? And
No,
say,
they have to put their own spin on it, don't they? That's why they use them as a mouth, don't they? Get out there and spread the gospel that we were robbed of them belts because they didn't want to pay us this kind of money all the time, so they wanted to keep tech belts off us and all that. What? So it's looking like the Saudis and them, they're not all pally pally now, are they?
well, and for the reasons I think I said to you earlier, Russ, that they just don't like the behaviour in their country. I mean, they're quite a respectful nation. Obviously, there are issues over their human rights, which is, I mean, it's not for us to really comment on because we can't get our own house in order in this country. But if anything, they wanted Fury to win so that there could be a trilogy. I remember Uncle Turkey saying, "Come on, Tyson." I mean, he fell over the line against Ngannou, didn't he? I mean, he turned up in poor condition and he just doesn't live the life. So his dad, I'm actually quite sad listening to that. He must have watched a different fight to me.
Yeah, it's all a bit mad, but I
But
think Fury's just coming back.
Russ,
It's
if,
all a
if
bit mad, but Fury's just coming back for the Joshua gravy now. They'll get that gravy mopped up, and then I think he'll ride into sunset. But then again, sometimes I think maybe his ego wouldn't let him do that, and that he's going to want to hang around like a bad smell till he's 40. What do you
there's two
think?
ways this can go, but I mean, his dad won't be out in Saudi, so unless it's a UK fight.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm assuming it'll be another Wembley or a Tottenham. But his dad, I don't think his dad will appear out in Saudi Arabia because his behaviour was appalling. And the problem is, whatever you do or say, it doesn't have no effect on Usyk or his team. They are so tightly knit. They're just a class act, all of them. Manager, promoter, training team. The problem with John Fury is it's almost as if he wants to be front and centre of everything.
Mm,
I mean, there was rumours, weren't there? He was taking 50% of his boy Tommy's money.
yeah.
I thought dads give their kids money, not take it.
Well, they'll all be back pals again if there's money on the table because they need Big John to sell them, don't they, the lads? You know, they bring him in he gets everybody talking. John, doesn't he? We've got to tip our hats off to him. He's a PR genius, isn't he?
He's very, very clever at it, but
Yeah, of course he is, man. There's no flies on him. He knows what to do, and he's acting village idiot, isn't he?
I mean,
Which is
the,
easy to win.
the first fight, the ref stepped in another couple of seconds more and he'd have been out. So I don't see how his dad. I don't know. He's just not watching the same fight as I watched. But I guess it's all about opinions. But I think that's a bit he's on sticky ground there, mentioning that this about the person he had to fight, otherwise there'd be penalties and that. You never bite the hands that feed you.
Yeah. It's all gone a bit quiet on the Chisora front, hasn't it?
What are they going to do with him?
Chisora.
Well, we got Parker. We got Parker. They parked him up. I'm still waiting to see what direction he's going in because Dubois Q jumped, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think AJ's got an injury, or do you think they're just playing mind games?
I think they're negotiating. That's what they're doing. He might have an injury. I mean, he keeps himself immensely fit. He generally would take the fight, but the numbers have got to work, haven't they? And maybe again, Fury's being delusional about his worth. I just think he's upset the Saudis. I really do.
Yeah.
I do. And you know what, Russ? You're probably going to say something a little bit controversial. Wouldn't be at all surprised if Simon Jordan doesn't get involved in some way in the structure with the Saudis.
Yeah, he's angling for it, isn't he?
Well, he's a smart guy, and I think this Turkey is approachable, and he does ask the right sort of questions. He's got so many people giving him lip service, but I think Simon. They said that when he came over for the Benn fight, he actually had a meeting with him. Now he didn't disclose exactly what was said in that meeting, but he didn't turn up at the fight allegedly. And he did say about 2 or 3 years ago that he wants to get involved in boxing. Maybe he's doing some consultancy role.
Well, I don't think he knows enough to do a consultancy role, Simon Jordan. I don't think he can dress things up with fancy questions, but I don't think he really gets boxing like other people get it like me. I don't think he understands the mechanisms of it. That's
Well,
just what I think.
yeah, but I think Turkey likes a tight team around him, and maybe he fits the bill. I don't know. It's just something I thought the other day. Next 12,
yeah,
very.
Go on.
I say the next 12 months is going to be very, very interesting. We're only getting told half of what's going on. I'm sure. I mean, you pick up some cracking little snippets, but I don't know who the next stars, how it's going to be structured. Our matchroom in a nosedive, which they are. I think Bricktop's going to be okay. I think he'll survive.
Will Bacoli survive?
I tell you what, I'd rather buy him a new suit than feed him for a week.
Hey, parked outside Dunkin' Donuts all day. Badou Jack is still soldiering on, isn't he? Cruiserweight.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. I remember when he fought George Groves fought him and lost a close one. Still going, and that was 10 years ago. No, good guy. He's been in with the Saudis from day one, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's obviously handling himself with the right sort of dignity.
Yeah, I like Badou Jack. React Porte fought at heavyweight, just against a 9-9 guy who didn't have a winning record. Do you see him doing out at heavyweight, React Porte?
Early days yet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Need to see him.
He's a bit gangly for me, but I've been told he can whack. Mark Tibbs says he can really punch.
Yeah, I'd like him to be a bit braver with these boys, but I have to say no one's generally gets Bricktop very rarely gets it wrong with most of his fighters, so maybe his blueprint is correct. But we've got some exciting times in the heavyweight division, I think.
Exciting times ahead.
Mm. I
What do you
can't wait
think?
to see who Ben's going to fight. I just want to see him on his backside, which is a terrible thing to admit.
Why is it, Ian? Just say what you feel, mate. I am Porky's
Yeah,
corner,
but
mate. Say
I
what
tell you
you
what
want.
it is, Russ. Whenever someone pops, I don't care who
They
they
never
are.
admit it, do they, at first?
It really pisses me off. I just look at them in a totally different light. I mean, I quite like Dylan White years ago, and then he pops, so that one's gone. And
Would
then
you
you just,
like to see all the teams banned? You know, if the fighter pops, would you like to see the cut man, the trainer, the whole lot of them
well,
done?
I'd like to see a standardisation of when someone pops, because I mean, we had Liam Cameron got 4 years for doing some toot, and then you get
Two.
Ryan, got Ryan Garcia. He was back in the ring in what, 7 months.
Yeah.
Conor Benn had the 2.5 years out, still fought in the States. Uh, that actually, that could be something to consider. But the problem is then, see, if the boxer's doing it unaided, and he's with Dr. Usman, then the trainer's is being banned for something that he knew nothing about. So it's the old mitigating circumstances again. We never get the truth, Russ. We never get told. I mean,
Well, how
Dennis Smith,
about this one then? Conor Benn
go on.
admitted strict liability, but didn't know how it got in his system, but admits it's in his system, so it's his fault. Got a 2.5 year ban,
Yeah.
and he only wanted to do it that way so it didn't leak out. That and no, and all parties involved can't say a thing or they get sued. But he'd already fought twice in America, and they all wanted to move on and make that money at that fight. That's how about that one? That he did serve a ban, and that nobody can talk.
Oh, if he'd said, yeah, I failed 2 tests, it's in my system, but I can generally tell you that I have no idea how it got in there, then at least then, he's had his ban, and then we always give people second chances. So off we go again. But the way he's handled it, he's obviously got a PR team around him. He's got a few quid. I mean, the Boxing Board of Control never contested it again because they haven't got the dough to go in court.
Yeah.
And to win a court case, you've got to have money.
Yeah, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth because there's just the bullshit all around it and how they've milked it and how they tried to sneakily put that first fight on and brush it under the carpet and all got their heads together. They all went to Callah's room, didn't they? And all were talking it all out, what they were going to do and all that, and it all got blown up in the faces. And then they all disappeared, didn't they? Come out with that half-hearted apology and everybody were confused. And all those shit. They all tried to pull everybody's leg, didn't they?
The problem is, Russ, okay, there's so much money on the table that the promoter gets blinded by how much money he's earning, possibly,
Yeah.
and he's not actually thinking of the bigger picture. What happens if someone gets killed in the ring and they knew that there was PEDs involved?
Oh, they
All
had all that with that Patrick, or whatever, something Day on it. Patrick Day, I forget, I might be wrong there. Is that his name? The guy who died on an Eddie show in America.
something's going to happen one day, and I tell you what, they might just go for the promoters. That's the scary thing.
Well, no, because the promoters are covered because the fighters they sign someone say the fit before on. Oh, do you mean if the promoters are burying drug tests?
Yeah, if they
And
actually
so they
dig into
are, yeah.
it, Russ, and they find out that there is collusion. I mean, Eddie came out and said, "Yeah, we'll have a rematch, but we'll try and bring the weight down." And we all saw the state of Chris Eubank Jr. You know, he had 3 days in hospital to try and get him.
He never
Get
had
his,
no
yeah,
snapping his punches for me.
none. So it's not, that wasn't boxing as we like to see boxing. Two fit and healthy guys going at it. So one day, and Eddie, I don't know. He thinks the problem with Eddie is he's never really had a tough day's work, has he? And he works hard, and he's a great promoter, a great spin doctor. but he has had a privileged upbringing.
Yeah.
And I just question if something goes wrong and he knows about it, what next?
Mm.
We live in a woke world now, Russ, don't we? And they'll be jumping all over it. And I just fear for the boxers all the time. I really do. I mean, it's a brutal sport. I like to see him get well paid and go home safe.
Adam Booth made a comment. He said Eddie wanted a rehydration clause in the contract that technically makes the fighter not perform to their best in a combat sport.
There you go.
So Eddie wanted the Eubank to be weak and that. What does is Adam Booth having a dig at Eddie there, do you think?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. And he's saying, well, Eddie wanted it in the contract, so the guy were weak and couldn't rehydrate and perform at his best in a dangerous sport, combat sport.
And
So
what could happen, Russ, is if matchroom boxing does nosedive, we might get a lot more truth come out.
well, I mean, they've all shown the true colours around the big money, haven't they? Around the Saudis and around covering drug tests up and rehydration clauses, and they've all shown what he is, Hernani, basically. We know
Well,
we know anyway, but
you've got to put your head on the pillow at night. I mean, I think I went on about it too much on the previous chats, Russ, but I was generally worried for Eubank Jr. And you could just tell that he must have had incredibly good conditioning to actually survive the 12 rounds, really. But there was nothing in the punches, was there?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's but that rehydration thing was dangerous, wasn't it?
Very, very dangerous, and they were lucky they dodged a bullet there. And I tell you what, you never heard a peep out of Bricktop. Frank Warren never commented about it. I never saw anything about it. I think he didn't want anything to do with it.
Well, look, I know Bricktop had nothing to do with rehydration clause and that. But what about Frank Smith? Spotty Frank Smith's role in all this. I mean, Frank Smith's missus is Eubank's sister, and it's all they're either all in on it, or they're all really bad people, which if they're bad people, they're bad people. But if they were all in on it and included together to write these amazing scripts, well, they're sneaky anyway. So either way, we don't believe what we're told, do we?
No, we don't. I mean, Frank might not be invited to Christmas dinner this year.
Million quid this and million quid that for even an ounce of it. Wait, so we're not buying that. We could.
No. Let's see what happened next. I mean, did he actually sign a 2-fight deal? Was that?
Look, where they're both going to go if they fight somebody else next. Eubanks is about done, isn't he? Right, and Benn ain't that good, so they're not. Where's there a big money fight for them next? They're not going to be world champions, are they? They're not going to win world title belts. So,
well, Russ, let's say Russ that Eubank Jr.'s team say, yeah, we'll have a rematch, but I'm coming in at 162, 163 with no rehydration clause. Is Ben going to say yes to that?
Oh, we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see.
Catch weight.
But it is what it is, isn't it? It's catch-22, mate, at the moment, boxing. But I just want to see fair play. And do I want to see Eubank Ben again? Well, we'll watch it, won't we? But I don't know. Maybe at a better weight, so it's a bit evener. 164 or something.
That would be perfect. And then
164 and let him rehydrate to whatever. Ben's got time then to beef up.
Yeah.
Well, his dad moved up, didn't he, to super middle from middle, so.
But will Ben get in the ring?
Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah. He's obviously gained, the kid. I mean, he he's stuck in there, but I think if he had his man strength, he'd ice him.
Yeah, I do. We're out of time, mate. But listen, it's been a pleasure having you on, Ian.
Can I say, Russ, just before I go, thanks ever so much for inviting me back on again.
Yeah, no sweat, mate.
I really enjoy our chats, and I haven't got the depth of knowledge of all the other boys, but I really enjoy having a catch up with you.
No problem. All right.
And you take care, mate. Yeah.
Cheers, Ian. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, mate.
Well, that were Ian from Kent. Women love him, men want to play golf with him. Right, that's about it, really. Things to do now. I'll go on. Peace out. We've got Canada Bob on tonight at 8 o'clock. All right, booyaka.